Good morning. Will everybody please rise? And let's join together in saying the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now let's keep our eyes on the four-way test and say that together. Of the things we think, say, and do.
Is it true? Is it fair? Concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Those of you who are not guests or do not have guests may all be seated. And everybody else, please keep standing. And when we are talking, please look toward the camera so that you can be viewed well.
It's my pleasure to welcome my good friend Scott Johnson, the genius and founder of World Singing Day, and I've asked him to say a couple words.
Thanks, TK. Hey, everybody. Nice to be here. So I founded World Singing Day here in Boulder in 2012. It's a global sing-along that happens on the third Saturday in October every year. And it's really about building community and promoting peace, very similar to what Rotary is up to. And this year we have 45 cities in a dozen countries on 6 continents participating. It's coming up in 2 weeks, October 19th, and we have a big thing on, big sing-along on Pearl Street. We sing everything from the Beatles to Sinatra and Katy Perry and so forth. It's the 19th, 2 p.m. on Pearl Street, but I invite you all to come out. 2 p.m. Thanks to
Well, I sing tenor in a men's barbershop quartet. Can I join you? Oh, okay. Coming around here.
Okay. This is my mother, Judy McLean, who's visiting here from Westport, Massachusetts. So, what can I say? Mother of 3, watercolor artist. Hobbies include poetry and gardening, reading, and I guess one thing I would say about my mom is that she's very much a yes to life and to new experiences, and that's what brings her here today.
So I think you heard that this summer I've been dealing with eye cancer, and my 2 adult daughters were very worried about me, so they decided to conspire to hold a surprise party for me at my house last night. And they invited a bunch of my friends and relatives, and I was stunned to see all these people in my backyard. But the most surprising thing was seeing my brother Chip, who lives in Alaska, standing on my deck.
That's a nice surprise to have. You've had some other surprises not so good.
Hello, my guest again this week is Matthew Falcone, who is with Rotaract at CU Boulder. And Matthew is going to have a few minutes at the end of the meeting to talk to us on the podium about the upcoming networking event that Rotaract is having. And Gene, I've heard you sing, and you can sing with my quartet anytime.
Woohoo! Thank you, Andy.
My guest today is John Graves, and we're in a group together called Lemon Tree, which is interdenominational to try to bring peace to the Middle East. And Bob Stunkel is in the group as well. We put on the Walk for Unity each year, as you all know about. But please welcome John. Oh, and I also should mention, John received a scholarship when he was in college, a Rotary scholarship to go to college. So.
Does this link with the book, Lemon Tree? Yes? Oh, that's a great book.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to have you all welcome Mark Holmes, one of my son-in-laws. And you may notice he's wearing a Colorado ski team. Actually, his two sons, twins, are on the Eldora ski team since they were, I think, 5 years old. Works for a realty company. Anyway, Mark Holmes.
It's fun for me to introduce two friends of mine, and they are both running for Boulder City Council. I realized in this room, if I said City Council, a whole bunch of people would say mine, mine, mine. Rachel Friend and Mark McIntyre. I'd love for you to meet them afterward if you feel you would like to. Thank you.
Psyche, I don't see your cello here to play. It's hiding. Okay.
Yeah. So my guests today are my parents-in-law, Joanne and Ed Steele. They're visiting from Dunsmuir, California, and I'm so grateful to be able to share our club with them, and we are all very excited for today's program. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Psyche. Any other guests or visiting Rotarians or important people who want to look into a camera? Seeing none.
Okay, welcome to all our visitors and guests. Today is a special day because we have another visitor who only comes once a year, and that's our district governor. This year's district governor is Kurt Harris, and Kurt said in a recent newsletter, new members bring energy and new ideas, but new members alone will not grow Rotary. We need bigger, more impactful service projects in our communities that get noticed. We need clubs to collaborate on projects. The more effective we are, the more people will want to join our Rotary team. Members of Boulder Rotary, District Governor Kurt Harris.
Well, thanks, John. I thought they were introducing Santa Claus. Anyway, I'd like to recognize a couple of past district governors that I've had the joy of working with, Norris Hermsmeyer and Peter Ewing. Thank you very much. I also want to recognize a past assistant governor that I got to serve with as assistant governor, Deborah Kelly. Thank you. I didn't see Mike Brady in here. I'm sorry that he didn't make it, but he's taken on the assistant governor job for the Boulder clubs. And finally, I know Bill Rubin's not here, but I want to thank him for all the work he's done with RILA. He and I go back a long time. So anyway, thanks again. It's clear this club has a great new energy. And I'm proud to report that you're now the largest club in District 5450, so congratulations. I've been a Rotarian for 22 years, all with the Evergreen Rotary Club. And my main passion, one of my two main passions in Rotary is our RILA program. I became involved with our Young RILA program back in 2002, and that's a very unique program. We only know of 5 middle school RILA programs in the world. And for the guests and maybe newer Rotarians, our RILA program is a week-long leadership conference for high school and now middle school students to develop leadership skills, personal development, and how to work within teams. In 2002, we began that Young RILA program, and that's also grown. Each year now, we Rotarians help fund a RILA experience, which is a life-changing experience for the kids that go, as well as the Rotarians that serve as senior counselors, for 675 high school, middle school, and disabled students each year. So give yourself a round of applause for that. Nearly every one of those students returned to their communities and schools re-energized to make a difference in those schools, in those communities, and somewhere around the world. And it's just a great program, and again, thanks for all your support for that. Your club has also been a great supporter of our Polio Plus program. And I've got a brief update. Polio is currently considered endemic in 3 countries still: Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. And the only good news I have today is that Nigeria hasn't had a case of wild polio for over 3 years. And we hope to see Nigeria and the whole continent of Africa declared polio-free sometime in the next few months. That's the good news. The bad news is in Pakistan and Afghanistan, things have gone south. My notes here that I made last night were 82 cases, got a report today, 3 more cases. We're now at 85 cases year to date. That compares to last year of 33 cases total. So things have kind of deteriorated, especially in Pakistan, for a number of reasons that I won't go into. But Rotary International has made a commitment to raise $50 million last year, this year, and next year that would be matched 2 to 1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for another $100 million. We made it last year for $50 million. We have our work cut out for this year. Two items to bring up there. In years past, we've had the President's Dinner. It was a Polio Plus fundraiser, and we've gotten the president of Rotary International to come speak. We could not get on President Mark's schedule this year. We couldn't get on the Rotary International President-elect's Holger's schedule this year, so we did the next best thing. We got their boss. John Huco is the General Secretary and the CEO of Rotary. He's the guy that actually runs Rotary and does the planning. RI presidents are like district governors. They're figureheads. They do a lot of talking, not as much policy making. So, and then also there was a picture there earlier of me in some bike gear. I haven't had that on enough this year. I've pledged to ride 102 miles in the Tour of Tucson for the Ride to End Polio. And that's significant in that I've been on my bike for 3 significant rides this year. So there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering as I train for that. So I'm asking for your encouragement. There is a link on the district website to make a pledge using your My Rotary account towards my goal of $20,000. You and your club get credit, and so it all gets accounted for as any other donation to the Rotary Foundation would. Last year, District Governor Sandy's theme was the power of connections. And my theme this year is to build on those connections and foster teamwork between Rotary clubs. And we've realigned some of the areas to do that. And the reports I'm getting are very good. And I added some notes, and so I'm trying to organize my thoughts as I'm standing up here. I'm going to shift gears, and your club has been a great supporter of the Rotary Foundation. And most of our clubs in our district are great supporters of the Rotary Foundation. Charity Navigator just gave us our 11th or 12th in a row 4-star rating, and they also rated us 100%. You can't get any better than 100%, no matter what an athlete says. And so we were able to give more money into the district grant program, 12% more than last year, and we actually raised the maximum amount for district grants from $5,000 to $6,000. Just have to partner with another club, so you have to have 3 other clubs in your district, in your grant process, and so therefore we're trying to get you to include other clubs that may not have been involved in district grants in the past to become involved in that process. And then finally, I want to talk to you about our district conference. My Evergreen Club has the reputation of bringing a party. And there's people right now already planning that party. On Friday night, we're going to have more of a celebration of the teamwork aspect of Rotary, and we're inviting everybody to wear their team colors. And I know we're going to allow people to actually wear Nebraska red, but that wouldn't go very well here, I hope. But we're not going to allow anybody to wear any Raiders gear. And then a show of hands. Who has heard the name Eric Weinmeier? Eric Weinmeier. Oh, 7 or 8. You all know who this guy is. He's the first blind person to climb Mount Everest. And since then, he's rafted the Grand Canyon, he's kayaked the Grand Canyon. He's climbed all the highest peaks on all 7 summits. He will be our keynote speaker for Saturday night. I've gotten to know Eric over the last couple of months. I've climbed a few mountains with him, and he's an outstanding guy. He's a great speaker. I've heard him speak. So I encourage you to register for the Rotary, for our district conference that will be held on April 24th and 25th at the Westin in Westminster. I neglected to say the date of the Polio Plus fundraising dinner, which is February 8th at the Marriott in Westminster. So not that long of a drive down the now recently repaired Boulder Turnpike. So with that, I'm finished. Thank you.
Kurt,
I'm loving it.
I picked up a training aid for you, which is a bike map of Boulder County, so that you can get in a few miles up here in our version of God's country as you're getting ready for Tucson.
I love it. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay, we got a couple of transitions from red to blue today. So would Karen McCormick, Don Walford, Diana Sherry, Merrill Glustrom, and Jim Rudosky please come up here? And you too, Bill Anderson.
Good afternoon. Dr. Karen McCormick was born into service. Her dad serving our country in the U.S. Navy for 30 years. After attending the University of Florida, she served her community as a veterinarian and owner of the award-winning Alpine Hospital for Animals. As a volunteer, she's helped with 2 nonprofits in the veterinary field. She has served as a communications coach at CSU's veterinary school. She's passionate about travel and culture. She spent 4 months on sabbatical in Italy, learning the language and tasting all the food and wine. Sounds like a great trip. After learning a second language, she felt driven to help others and volunteered as an English teacher with Intercambio in Boulder County. After running for Congress in the 4th Congressional District in eastern Colorado in 2018, she's decided to take her problem-solving skills to the State House and is presently running for House District 11, representing Longmont. Karen is thrilled to be a part of Boulder Rotary. Her goal is to be of service. Rotary does just that. She's participated in the Crayons to Calculators program this summer and is involved with the Protect Planet Earth Committee, including establishing an e-waste recycling center in the West Bank. Please welcome Dr. Karen McCormick, and also I would like to thank Diana Sherry and Merrill Glustrom for bringing her to our club.
The Boulder Rotary Club has many very accomplished members, so it's very appropriate that Don Wolford is now a Boulder Rotarian. Don has a remarkable background. He got his bachelor's degree in fine arts from the University of New York, in Binghamton, New York. And that qualified him for a major career change, which was to go to New York and be an investment banker, which he was for several decades, quite successfully. He was responsible for many billions of dollars in funds raised for new ventures. Then he decided he'd had a little bit enough of New York, so he came to Colorado and started a ambulance company, and was the founder of Boulder County Emergency Services. And he worked in Denver at a number of ER in the hospitals in Denver. And then he decided that it was time for yet another career change. So he went into the oil and gas business. And most recently, he has started a venture maybe a half dozen years ago, sequestering carbon dioxide at the source, at the power plant, and then pumping it to oil fields where it is pumped back into the ground, and it helps efficiently liberate oil and natural gas that is in the deposits there. So very interesting background. He's a musician. He has performed in New York City, had a band there, and he told me that he has a particular connection with Rotary in that he was part of the first trial of the Salk vaccine. He was 8 years old and he received the vaccine. He wasn't sure at the time whether it was the real deal or the thank you, placebo, but he found out later it was, in fact, the vaccine. Don has hit the ground running since joining the club back in March. We have talked for a long time about the food that is left over after we have our nice meals, and we've always wanted it to go to a nonprofit. And when Don heard this, he immediately jumped in, and every week now he has been going back and bundling up the food and taking it to Second Baptist Church, where it is used for their homeless and indigent program. So Don is a wonderful addition to Boulder Rotary, and I'd like you to join me in welcoming him. Don has been weighing the food that he takes each week, and he tells me that he has transported 2,300 pounds of food to the church.
Don, thank you for putting your oil and gas sequestration skills to work on our leftovers every Friday. Okay. Get ready to reach for the sky if your raffle ticket number is 838-6640. All right, Bill Anderson. I think you'll have to see Brad Weasley for the check. And if you don't see him, see me. Dr. George Russell, I understand we have a birthday boy.
Yes, after reciting some long poems, people will come up to me and ask, do you have a photographic memory? And I always say, yes, I do. But sometimes the photographs are kind of out of focus. I think everybody has a photographic memory, just a lot of people don't have film. So, our birthday boy is Chris Coker, and he's here today.
Thank you. I look better on the screen out of focus as well. And I was asked who brought me into the club, and it was actually Ed McDowell here. Ed McDowell said, hey, I think you should join Rotary, and so I want to say it's great to see you, Ed. I'm glad you're back here with us. And I also want to take my short time here. Daryl Brown's mom passed away this week, and the celebration of life is at 2 o'clock today at Howe Funeral Home right there in Lafayette, Louisville. So if anybody'd like to follow us over after the service to spend a little time with him, it's been hard for him. So please join him or email him or text him so that you know you're thinking about him.
Thank you, Chris. Happy birthday. So we don't have a video announcement today, but we have a live in-person announcement from Matthew Falcone of the CU Rotaract. Come on up, Matthew.
Hello, Rotarians. My name is Matthew Falcone. I'm Vice President of the Rotaract Club at University of Colorado Boulder. I'm here, I'm a second-year graduate student studying water and sanitation engineering, and my work is in Sierra Leone primarily. Rotary has been a big part of getting me to where I am. I've had mentors back in my home district of 70-90 who believed in me, who mentored me, who gave me opportunities to push further, and that's brought me here. And what I'd like to ask of you all today is to consider coming to our networking event. On your tables, you'll have a flyer, right? November 8th, 6 to 7 p.m. At the university. We just pushed this back, so I spoke to some of you last week. We pushed this back. There was a game that night that we overlooked. But I really appreciate if some of you could come make it and just talk to the Rotaractors. You know, let them know that you're there for them as mentors, and you're there to help them succeed. In particular, you know, we have people interested in environmental science, dental, PT, medical, architecture, graphic design, entrepreneurship and business, law. We got a group of about 20 strong this year, and they're really engaged. So if some of you would be willing to donate your time, we'd greatly appreciate that. So you can either email us there's our email address down below, or just chat with Andy Meyer after the meeting, and we'll really hope to see you there. Thank you.
Okay. It's getting towards the closing minutes of today's meeting. Kathy Olivier is the winner of the CU versus University of Arizona tickets. So see me afterwards. They will not be in the display anymore. The next game up will be USC, but that's a couple of weeks off. I want to thank Darla Sheath for being our past president greeter. I want to thank Karen McCormick, who did double duty today, being her last act as a red badge was to greet and then transition to blue badge. And I want to, Kathy Olivier, Margie Sullivan, Judy Pitt were our guest and visitor registration people. Paul Jarity was our scholarship raffle coordinator. And then I want to say thanks to the Crack AV crew, Bob Taylor, Fred Hall, Bill Moore, John Lehman. And thank you to all of you. Have a great weekend.